everybody, and welcome to Never Seen It. This is a podcast where we talk about movies that we haven't seen yet. It is episode 301. I am joined today with my wife, Betsy.
Hello.
And my name is Trent, of course. So today we are going to be doing another movie in our series of big movies for Big Movie May. Betsy, this is a movie that neither of us have seen. It is on every fucking list out there of one of the greatest movies of all time. We're covering The French Connection. Or is it The French Connection?
Doesn't matter to me. The point is neither of us have watched it.
Neither of us have watched this movie. And I said to Betsy before we started recording, The French Connection sounds like something, it's a section in a newspaper that is for like singles.
Or a dating app.
Or a dating app,
Something.
Yeah. So I don't really know a whole lot about The French Connection going in here, but I know this is a huge movie. We wouldn't have chosen it otherwise. But Betsy, I know you pulled some stats about this. I haven't heard any of these. What do you got over there?
Yeah, like we said in our last episode, this whole podcast is built around the concept of movies that we probably should have watched by now.
Mm-hmm.
And The French Connection is another one of those really big movies that for some reason we just haven't sat down to do. So to emphasize this, I just have some stats. This was another one that was nominated for 8 Academy Awards.
And back in the 70s, that was a huge deal.
Yep, and it won 5 of them, including Best Picture. So this is another Best Picture winner that we are watching for the first time.
Yep.
This was the number 3 movie of 1971 at the box office. Of all the movies of 1971, number 3.
Well, and that's really saying something too, because there really weren't that many movies coming out in the 70s. And it's saying less about a movie that came out in 1971 as opposed to the last movie we did in 1995. There were a lot more movies coming out in 95, and there were just fewer filmmakers and films coming out in the 70s. But still, it's a huge deal.
Yep, and you referenced this being on a lot of like best of lists.
Yeah.
This is a movie that when the AFI did their 100 greatest movies, the original list put this as number 70, and the list was 100 movies,
right.
Okay? And then they did the list again at the 10-year anniversary. It dropped a little bit to 93, but it was still on the list.
But it survived all those years in between when they did those lists. Yeah. So, that all being said, even though this is a huge movie, we haven't seen it. Is there a reason why you have never sat down to watch this movie?
I'm lazy.
Okay.
No, genuinely, this is just one where it's a 70s movie, and as we've talked about many times, I am not drawn to 70s cinema. Like, I have been finding some that I enjoy, but then there are other ones where I'm like, I don't like this movie. It's just not my cup of tea. And I have this preconceived notion that every movie in the 70s is reflective of the time that America was going through.
Dark and depressing.
Where it's like dark and depressing because I've seen enough of them that are dark and depressing and reflecting the national mood that I'm like, I don't like this. I don't feel happy watching this.
But in recent years and episodes we've been doing this podcast, we have discovered, oh my God, there are some amazing movies that came out in the 70s. Network and Rocky being one of them that came out in the same year, 1976.
Yeah. So I'm starting to find that I'm eating my own hat.
Yeah, and I'm really fascinated to do more of these.
Yes, and this is, like I said, on the AFI list.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that special when it came out, that original summer special, 100 Years, 100 Movies, when I was in high school. And this has been kind of one of those goals I'm working through where I want to see every movie on this list. And I've seen most of them. That original 100, I have checked off lots of those movies. Even just with you on this podcast, I have done that. But The French Connection, don't know. Never sat down to do it.
So as far as what we know about the movie, I have a very short list of things I know. Number 1, Gene Hackman is the star. And number 2, heroin. That's all I know.
And a car chase.
Is there a car chase? I didn't even know that.
This is a car chase movie. Like there is like an action sequence where I don't know exactly, but this has got a well-known car chase in it. I know that.
Okay. The only other car chase that I'm aware of that is very iconic from kind of this era is Bullet. And that happens in San Francisco. Maybe eventually we're going to watch Bullet.
We should do another
Steve
one of those.
McQueen. Yeah. But the only thing I know about that movie, just to, cannibalize the intro from that episode whenever we do it. There's a car chase in San Francisco, and one of the cars loses more and more and more hubcaps. It's more hubcaps than the car has on it.
It's more than 4.
Yeah. It's the only thing I know about that movie, other than Steve McQueen, of course.
Yeah, and this movie, as I understand it, Gene Hackman is a cop. I think he's like, what do they call it? The Vice Squad. I don't know what they...
Okay.
I don't know. He's a cop, but he's not like a good guy. He's like I don't think he's dirty, but he's not a good person.
He's a cop that gets the job done.
Kinda, yeah. He doesn't play by the rules.
Right. So, I mean, other than that, do you know anything else about this movie?
Nope. I don't know a single other person who's in it.
Nope.
I'm not sure who directed this. I've never seen this movie.
The only reason I know about the heroin thing is because I heard somebody make a joke at some point about the movie being about heroin. That's all I know.
I knew it was drugs. I didn't know it was heroin.
Sure. All right. Well, we're going to go and watch The French Connection from 1971. We'll be right back. And we are back. That was 1971's The French Connection. Betsy, did you miss your connection?
No. No, I can't say that I did. However, I will say, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, now I've seen this movie. I get it.
I can see how somebody coming out of the movie theater in 1971 would have had a really substantial reaction to this movie, for lack of a better word.
Oh, yeah. At the beginning, I was kind of like, okay, this is a little slow going. We're jumping back and forth a lot. They're setting up a lot of characters, and nothing really seems that important. But then we get to the chase sequence with him in the car and the train. And for the next like half an hour, I could feel my heart rate was increased.
Yeah.
I was really feeling the tension when I'm just like, oh shit, now it's getting real.
Yeah, and man, you mentioned in the intro that one of the other things about this movie, other than, heroin and Gene Hackman, is that there is a car chase. But I didn't expect it to be this.
No, it's a car chasing a train, not a car chasing another car.
It's an elevated train.
Yeah, I had recently watched a video about this sequence, and I wish I remembered exactly what they said about it because I didn't have the context. I don't even remember what they were talking about.
And good God, was that thing intense.
Yeah.
Like down to them strapping a fucking camera to the bumper of that car where like you are getting that sense of speed, how fast they're going through traffic in and around all these cars passing by, and they only had half of a permit in order to film in this location.
They didn't have much of a permit for anything in this movie.
And it's not even a permit. It is more that they only shut down about half of the intersections that they're going through. And the director just kept on going. Like the guy who was directing the film is in the back seat filming. And then the driver is some professional ass driver. And they just kept on going past all of the other intersections that they did not shut down. And one of these sequences where that car got into an accident was just real.
Yeah, some guy was going to work, didn't know there was a movie being filmed.
Why would you?
And he got in a car crash.
Yeah, why would you? Because they didn't shut down the intersection. There was no people around there.
They didn't notify anybody in the area they were going to be doing this because they weren't supposed to be doing this. They notified the 5 blocks they did shut down.
Yeah, they got a bunch of like off-duty NYPD officers to come and shut down traffic, but they didn't clear it with the city.
No, this entire movie is just, you can even tell it has that realistic vibe of they're just pointing cameras and doing whatever the fuck they want.
I had the feeling here of when we watched the Italian Job, the original Italian Job that they filmed, in Europe, they didn't get any kind of permits for any of that shit either.
Nope, they just grabbed the cameras and then recorded as quick as possible.
Right.
And it's like shaky and dirty, and it's not always the best constructed shot, but they got the shot, so
Yeah.
they'll take it.
There was a couple of moments here where I got a little uneasy, where you could tell that these are just handheld cameras, and you could tell that the person holding the camera is literally just walking backwards.
Well, I had to bring up to you at the very beginning of the movie, the Steadicam didn't get invented for
No.
a few years. Rocky,
Not until Rocky.
when we watched that, they inadvertently brought the Steadicam into modern cinema.
Yeah, the story that we found out about that is the cinematographer for Rocky had this idea, had this technology.
He
that
was playing around with
He
it.
was about to go to Hollywood from Philly. He's about to go to Hollywood and try to sell it to the studios, but he got hired on this Rocky project. And by golly, a whole lot of people saw that, and they pointed at it and they said, I need that.
Well, yeah, if you look at just that single shot of Rocky running up the stairs,
Yes.
how smooth that is, and then you go and watch this movie, which was 5 years before, and it is almost hard to watch at times
It
because
is.
it's so shaky.
Yeah. So I agree with you that this being this like down and dirty kind of, it's 70s New York, so it's already very kind of dingy.
It's a shithole.
It
Like,
is.
this was when New York was falling apart and they had
Yeah.
not put in the effort to clean it up yet.
But like going back to the car chase thing, like the technique of them putting the camera on the car's bumper just gives it that much extra oomph to it to me. And they also they didn't really call it out in any of the stuff that we read, but clearly some of these cameras were just rigged up to these other vehicles that you didn't really see in these older movies. Like cars in general in this movie were kind of a character in and of themselves.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like,
down to the fact that one of them is holding the drugs.
yeah, we don't know why that car is important. We just know we keep being shown the car.
Yeah.
So you have to keep waiting to see what happens with the car.
Like seriously, I thought to myself at the beginning of the movie, why would you bring this car all the way from France? Like, is it that important to you? Like, you can buy a Lincoln in the US for nothing.
Well, and they had enlisted the help of this celebrity. He's like
Right.
this sort of famous guy. And they introduce him at the beginning. And then we watch a huge chunk of the movie and he doesn't come into play at all.
Yeah, you were
So I'm
asking,
like,
what's the deal with this celebrity guy?
yeah, when are we going to tie up some loose ends with that? Because he hasn't been in the rest of the movie.
What's the connection?
What is the connection, Trent? But there's not a whole lot of actual plot to this movie. So I took almost no notes. I'm going to be honest with you because
I didn't take very many.
I was just sort of like, okay, so we've got these French guys, they've got the drugs, we've got these like American guys, they're going to be dealing the drugs, and then we've got the cops who just sort of happen to fall into this. Like they just
Yeah.
see a guy at a bar one night and they go, he seems suspicious. Let's tail him.
And it's not only he seems suspicious, but it's who he's hanging around.
Yeah. They know the people at the table with him. So that's enough for them to say, let's just follow him and
Yeah.
see what happens.
This bigwig Weinstock, I think his name was, he was at that club or whatever it was. And this new guy, Sal, he had never been really hanging around there before. He's very small time. They did a background check on him and he was involved in some, minor robberies. And what do? He tried to hold up Macy's. Is that what it was?
Tiffany's.
Tiffany's,
In
yeah.
broad daylight.
Right. And Tiffany's didn't press any charges. So maybe there's some kind of weird connection there. I don't know.
He's got some friends in high places who
Yeah.
pulled strings, and so he didn't have to serve any time.
So they have this hunch about him that, okay, let's see what this new guy is all about. So they are up all night. They were about to go home for the day. Gene Hackman tells them, okay, let's go to the drink. Let's go have a drink. And sure enough, Gene Hackman has this hunch. Let's tail him. Let's stay out all night and stake him out, whatever he happens to be doing. They find out, okay, he runs this shop or restaurant, or they call it a candy shop, with this other woman who wears a blonde wig. So they just get this idea in their head that there's got to be something extra here.
Yeah, they smell a rat because
Yeah.
it's like this guy makes next to no money, and yet he's got this apartment on the Upper East Side
Yeah.
or something.
And he can afford to go to this fancy
And
club
he's
every
got
night.
2 cars
got
and he's
2
throwing around
cars.
cash.
Yeah.
It's suspicious to say the least. So they
Sure.
just decide, let's see what happens. And then it sort of falls into their lap that he's got big time connections to known drug dealers. And so these 2 cops, it's Gene Hackman and Roy Scheider, are partners
Mm-hmm.
on the narcotics team. And they say, that they have had the most small time arrests. They arrest people all the time for
Yeah.
drug offenses. But these two finally found a big fish and they want in. They want that big bust.
Yeah, and their, I guess, boss is throwing it back in their face saying, guys, you just haven't had any kind of big thing. All of your hunches turn out to be nothing. And the last time you had a big hunch, another cop ended up being dead. So spare me your hunches.
Yeah. But they end up going for it. And then the rest of the movie is just a cat and mouse game.
The
half
whole
of the
fucking movie is a cat and mouse game.
Half of the movie, we are just watching them watch people.
Kinda.
Which should be so boring. This movie should be completely stupid
But it
because
was riveting.
all you're doing is watching this cop follow that guy, and then he kind of looks at him, so he has to stop, and then his partner takes over.
Yeah.
And this goes on for 20, 30 minutes at a time. But the whole time I'm like, he's gonna see him. He's gonna get him. Oh no, what's happening?
And then they also have the like 5-man tailing ring. Whenever the French people get there, they're following all around New York City. Nothing is happening.
No.
But it's just a matter of, okay, am I made or not?
Yeah, Gene Hackman stands outside freezing his ass off. That is half of this movie.
One of the best shots in this movie is when the two French guys are inside eating dessert, or they're having dessert served to them. And then in the background, you can see Gene Hackman freezing his ass off. And there's this big zoom where
70s zoom.
he's pouring out the shitty coffee or drink that he got, and it zooms back, and it's back into the fancy restaurant, of course. So you're right. About, I don't know, even like 2/3 of this movie is just the cat and mouse game. The cops tailing the guys, and the bad guys, let's say, are kind of toying with them.
Oh yeah, they've
because,
known since day one the cops are on to
these
them.
French guys know that they're being tailed, and they're just kind of fucking with them.
Oh, it was so great. I think you and I would both agree that the best scene in the movie is where Gene Hackman follows the French guy to the subway, and he knows he's being followed, and he keeps getting on the train and getting off the train and getting on the train and getting off the train, and he does this like 4 times.
Yeah, he gets off to do one little thing. He gets off to throw something into the trash. Then he gets back on, and Gene Hackman comes out, and he goes up to the trash, and
And it's like, dude, you are in like a 15-foot space. Of course he fucking sees you. There's no one on the platform. But that's the point. He is demonstrating to him, I know who you are. I know what you're doing. I fucking see you, to the degree that when he finally ditches him, he waves at him.
Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.
And that's just kind of the vibe of the entire movie, where Gene Hackman and his partner are just, they're kind of frustrated the entire way. They're not getting anywhere with anybody. And when they do feel like they get something, then there's some kind of setback.
Or there's somebody trying to like hone in on their territory. Like there's feds. They have federal people coming in because, of course, now this is like international. There's a French guy, etc. And they're like, no, this is our case. Get out of here. We don't want someone else taking the credit. So they are like staying up all night, and they're constantly there and yelling at the other cops like, you know, I went down to the hotel and he was free as a bird and nobody was following him. So I had to follow him because your guy is too terrible at his job to do his job.
Sure.
And another thing I did not know about this is apparently inspired by real events.
Sure.
Did not know this was a real case. There's a real Popeye. There's a real partner that he had, and they made this bust.
And a case like this, I would say, I don't know, is it kind of innocuous? Because, you know, it is a bigger drug bust, and, you know, 120 pounds of heroin in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of a big deal, but is it really? That's kind of what I was thinking throughout this.
Well, they have their little scientist guy who says this is like the purest heroin he's ever seen. Like this
89% pure heroin. It is a $32 million deal. And in 1971 dollars, that's pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what you have to remember in the context of 1971. This is when heroin was starting to become the drug of that decade.
Yeah.
Like heroin and cocaine both kind of came up about the same time.
Yeah, and heroin was a lot more expensive in the 70s and
it
into
was
the 80s.
Harder to get.
Yeah, and then cocaine was the cheap drug in the 80s.
So you put it into that context. That's why it's such a big deal, because they're literally bringing it in from overseas. It's this whole operation. And they said something about, you are going to be set for like 3 years with this supply. This is going to last, because not that you and I know a whole lot about heroin, but we've watched enough movies to
Yeah.
know that it doesn't take a lot.
Because it is so pure, you don't need that much. And you
No.
can sell it by just the gram.
Mm-hmm.
And you take 120 pounds per the gram. Yeah, that's going to last the streets a long time.
Yeah, that is an insane deal. But I pointed out to you, I don't know if they ever said the word heroin in this movie.
They don't. I don't think they do.
If they did, I completely missed it because they keep referring to the supply or
no, the big wig Weinstock, he does say when he's talking to Sal in that hotel room.
when they say, "Oh, the cops are all over us."
Yes, when he
Okay.
says the cops are wiretapping your phones. Yeah,
Got
he
it.
does say that
Okay,
once.
I could not remember because I was like, did they actually use the word? Because they keep referring to it in code because these guys have to, because if their phones are being tapped, they have to be able to communicate without saying it.
Right. But I wanted to go back to the not just the chase scene, but the immediate aftermath of that, because the chase scene is kind of it is a culmination of a lot of different things leading up to that. But then there's a whole lot of movie left to go. So Gene Hackman and his partner are taken off the case. Do you remember why? I don't exactly remember.
They were taken off the case?
Yeah, remember when they kind of pull up to this accident where there was like dead people on the ground and they're putting them
Oh,
in?
yeah.
Yeah, so they get
Okay.
into this scuffle and the whatever guy says you're off.
The chief.
You're off of the special detail.
I kind of forgot that, but
Yeah.
yes.
So the next time we see Gene Hackman, he's in his street clothes. He's walking down the street. This is
Yes.
after the bad guys on the plane say, "Oh," and the assassin says, "Well, let me take care of him."
Yeah. And he tries to take him out with a sniper rifle.
Yeah, he gets a sniper rifle and
Kills
tries to
some random woman on the street by
Yeah,
mistake.
Right,
Yeah.
she just happens to walk in front of him.
I'm
And,
sorry, is he a terrible sniper or was she just in the wrong place at the wrong time?
Yeah, American-made sniper rifles. What are you gonna do? But yeah, from that point on, this entire chase scene is born, where you got Gene Hackman running and jumping over things.
Parkour!
Something I've never seen the man ever do before because I've only ever seen him as an old man.
Or certainly older than this. He's still 40 here, but this is really the movie that made his career. Like, it really took off after this. Like, I just saw
Totally.
after this movie was filmed, he was unemployed for 6 months. Like, he didn't get another job until after he won a Best Actor award.
Yeah. So he's chasing this guy. He goes into the subway system and he's chasing him through the thing. And everybody knows what this chase scene is. Immediately after that, he shoots the guy. He gets the assassin. He got his man. But that's just one guy. He's not going to get any information out of him because he's dead. I assume he's dead anyway.
He looked pretty dead.
He looked pretty dead. But you know what? You wouldn't really know it by all of the really bad squibs going off.
It's very red, this blood. It looks like silly paint.
If there's anything that really, really dates a movie like this, it is the blood effects, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, it looks really cheesy.
Yeah.
Like, it does not look good.
But that all being said, after that sequence, the movie just kind of slows way down. The pacing is, I think, the biggest thing. Now, you said that, oh, geez, your heart kept on racing after the chase ended, but I don't agree. I kind of just lost it. Like, okay, why isn't this the finale? Why wasn't the big chase at the very end of the movie? The big finale is the shootout at this abandoned building.
I think it's because they kind of build the tension. It did slow down again. Like,
Yeah.
they had this big chase scene. It was pretty exciting for a while. Then it slows down, but then at the very end, it gets exciting again. So it's just kind of an ebb and a flow. It does. You're right. It doesn't exactly make sense. If he's off the case, did they just completely go rogue and say, "Fuck you, we are on this case. He just tried to kill me."
I think that's just the point right there. Gene Hackman was shot at by this guy who they can tie to this other
A
Frenchman.
known associate.
Yes. So I think that's what really kickstarted the entire thing. And you got the entire support of the precinct, as it were, to try to help out and actually get everybody. And that's how they got the car thing. They impounded the car, they tore it apart, they got the drugs out, and they were able to make all of the connections.
Right. But like the thing with the car, this is a very slow sequence, but I'm like, I know there's drugs in the car. I know there's drugs in the car. There has to be drugs in the
so
car.
does Gene Hackman.
Why do we keep watching this fucking car? Why is the car important
Yeah.
if the drugs are not in the car? And they tear this fucking thing completely apart. That car would be unrecognizable. They took out the seats and they're tearing seats open and they're ripping open doors and the carpet and they took the oil out just to
Right.
see if it was in the oil tank. And they haven't found these drugs. And I'm starting to get frustrated just like they are because I'm like, no, they have to be
And
in this fucking car.
It is kind of a genius thing that Roy Scheider said. It's like, okay, well, clearly there is a manifest. What is the weight of this car? Because you got to weigh everything that goes on the boat.
Yeah, that boat has to legally have exactly how much weight it is.
Right.
They are very finite about the amount that can go on a boat.
Yeah. And then they also check on, okay, well, this is what the owner's manual says that it weighs. And even then, the manufacturer knows how much it weighs because they know what all the parts weigh.
Yeah. So they ultimately find the drugs.
Yeah.
Then they have to put that whole car back together again.
That is maybe the one thing that I find most unbelievable. That anybody would be able to get into that car, number one, and drive it. Number two, not notice that it had been completely ripped open.
This chop shop is so good that they could just put it all back together and nobody notices.
And I wonder, like, the guy who was on screen saying, I tore everything out, but the shaker boards or whatever the fuck they're called. That guy actually does work in this police garage.
He's not an actor.
Right.
He was the guy who helped the real
He's the
cops.
guy who would do something like this.
Yeah. He did do this.
Right.
Not he would do. He was involved in the real case and he helped them find the drugs hidden in the car. But yeah, they put it all together and then it's again, they let the car go. And finally we got that French celebrity guy back.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to like pick up the car and move it. But it's a little bit questionable because like Sal parks the car and they only take the car because some street hooligans are going to scrap it for parts. They're going to
Right.
steal the hubcaps or some shit.
Sure.
So they let them get away and now we're just waiting for the bust. So we know that there's going to be a drop that happens where they're going to give somebody.
There's an exchange.
Yeah, there's going to be an exchange. They're going to take the drugs. They're going to take the money.
And they also had not really covered the idea of Sal's brother, where we were at the auction, the scrapyard auction for this other car that matches this other car, this Lincoln.
It doesn't even match it. It's just another car for some reason.
Well, 1971, there are not a lot of cars out there, so
No.
it makes sense.
But like when they show it, it's some blue beat up piece of shit that they
Okay,
have
I
to
didn't even notice
tow
that.
away.
Fine.
Yeah. But there is this ambiguity at the end of the movie because they get Sal, there's a big shootout, a bunch of the guys, they get smoked out and they surrender.
Yeah.
The French guy runs into the next building and Gene Hackman is following him. And he is convinced he's in here. Now, this again was an intense scene because it's very quiet and all you hear is his footsteps walking through this stone and water.
You also get the first person perspective of the camera looking around this like shitty building.
Yeah, it's completely dilapidated. He knows this guy is in here and he fires at somebody and it's the other cop. So he accidentally shoots another cop. And to demonstrate what an asshole he is, he's like, he's in here. I know he's in. He does not even
Doesn't
react
care.
to the fact he just killed a man. He does not react. And he says, no, he's in here. And he goes across the room. He disappears off screen and you hear a single gunshot. Then you get the recap. Here's everybody and what happened to them after this case.
Yeah. You get the result of the trials against the people that they arrest. The cops who were involved, the Gene Hackman character and his partner, they just get transferred somewhere else because they don't actually get their man.
So, yeah, the whole movie is basically a waste of everybody's fucking time because they fucked it all up. They fucked it up. We don't know exactly why, other than, he shot a man who was a police officer. But the whole gang, basically, this guy got acquitted and that guy only served a few months. And this was a misdemeanor for her.
Right.
And
The guy who had the most severe penalty was the celebrity guy. He got 4 years.
he got 4 years and everybody else kind of got off scot-free.
For conspiracy.
But where it's ambiguous is the Frenchman. So he was never arrested. He disappeared. They don't know what happened to him. They, quote, assume he is, they suspect he is living in France happily.
Yeah.
So there's two things here that are unresolved. One, when they make the drop, all of that money went into the shitty old car that was being towed away. So that disappeared. and it's that single gunshot. So we know the money is gone. There was a gunshot, and the Frenchman is unaccounted for. So there's two scenarios. He could have somehow escaped, and now he has all his money, and he is happily living in France. Or, alternatively, Popeye shot his ass, and he's like rotting in this dilapidated old shack somewhere.
Yeah, in the movie, let's say. And who the fuck knows how much of this movie is real when you're looking at the actual case that this is based on. Now, you could say a whole lot of other scenarios here. You could say, okay, the Frenchman got away, but he didn't get the money. Maybe he had other connections in New York City where he could just lay low for a while and he just got away. You could also say, yeah, Gene Hackman shot him, and because he was pissed off, he shot him and he covered it up.
Because they spend a lot of this movie demonstrating that Popeye's kind of an asshole. He's a bad person. He uses a lot of racial slurs.
Yeah.
He is an angry man who shakes down people who probably don't deserve it.
He beats up suspects that they don't need to.
He is overly violent with people he is trying to arrest or question.
Mm-hmm.
He will do kind of anything he needs to break this case open. And they show him convinced after, like I said, he has just killed a police officer. And he is
couldn't care less.
He is unfazed by this. He just wants to get his man. So I don't believe it is out of the realm of possibility that he straight up killed that guy, because we are unresolved on that. And there was something in the IMDb page that said William Friedkin, the director, was asked about this.
Right.
And he says, yeah, the ambiguous ending doesn't really mean anything. Or it might.
Or does it? Who knows?
He literally said both answers. It's
Right.
like, you son of a bitch. But that's the point of ambiguous endings is, yes, both are right. Whatever you think he killed him, you're right. You think the French guy got away and he's living in France, you are also right.
Right. And, you know, of course, an ending like that is endlessly frustrating because you want to have whatever it happens to be, whether it's, you know, Gene Hackman gets his man, he gets arrested and everybody's happy, he gets a promotion. Okay, that's an ending. Or Gene Hackman approaches him and there's a shootout and Gene Hackman dies. Okay, that's the solution. I don't care what it is, but I just didn't get one here. And the fact that most everybody involved here basically got off scot-free, except for Sal. Like, Sal got shot and killed.
Yeah, Sal's dead.
Sal's very dead. His girlfriend got off with a misdemeanor. The bigwig got off because there's not enough evidence. And the celebrity guy got the worst of it, but he was barely involved in the first place. He essentially got, like, slid over some money. Okay, let's just use your car basically to be a drug mule.
Pretty much. That is his entire involvement in this.
And the alibi is he's over in New York scouting locations or doing something for a French TV show in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So the setup of all this is actually kind of brilliant, but the resolution is not. So
it is kind of status quo by the end of it, where
kind of is.
They fell into this case, they did the work on it, but it was bad work. And then at the end of it, yes, they made the bust, but why did they bust them in this way? They knew where they were going to be. They knew when they were going to be there. They could have kicked the door down at any time and caught them all with their hands in the cookie jar.
Right.
Like, they had all that money in briefcases sitting on the table, and they had all the drugs sitting on the table.
Why didn't they approach them when the deal was going down?
Yeah, they
instead of just cutting off at the end of this bridge and then slowly going after them because clearly they can't get away from this thing.
Sure, it's funny to have Gene Hackman there with the knowing look waving at the Frenchman.
Right.
But that's a terrible bust. You are terrible. He has nothing on him. Those two guys in the car, yes, they are fleeing the police, but there is nothing in that car now.
Yeah.
There are no drugs and there is no money in that vehicle.
You got to catch him with, like you said, with the hand in the cookie jar. Everybody has to be there at the same time, having the deal go down.
And they really fucked that up.
Yeah, they really did. So that all being said, as far as the plot of the movie, like the entire point of this thing, it is a little unresolved, and you know, you could say that, okay, that just makes it a better story, because not every like actual story, real life story, has a happy, tidy ending.
Right, and maybe the real case is what we saw here. Like the real drug bust with the real Popeye ended this way, and it just is what it is. It's not satisfying in the resolution because they were not satisfied in their own resolution.
So I wonder why. Why this story? Why exactly was this put forward as a movie? Like, what was the impetus behind it? Because when you don't include all of the, camera techniques and the chase and everything else, it is kind of a boring drug bust story.
There's not a whole lot here.
No, but I guess the director just had the idea that, okay, let's make this cat and mouse game movie where you're watching the cops, you're watching the bad guys both at the same time. You know who's the bad guy, you know who's the good guy, and you don't know what the resolution is going to be. So it's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah. It's a thrilling movie. Like, really,
it absolutely is.
Once I was kind of steeped in this world a little bit and they amped up the action, then I was along for the ride. And literally the last sequence where he's going through that abandoned warehouse or whatever he's in, I was kind of holding my breath. I'm like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And one of the things that added to this, and I said this while we were watching it, was the score.
Yeah.
There is not a ton of it in this movie, but it is really fucking effective. The movie starts with this like horn blaring,
This big fucking boom of music.
and then the French Connection.
Right.
And then the movie just fucking starts. And then there's such a vibe through the whole movie. Like, there's sometimes like this jazzy piano, but then these off-putting strings. Then sometimes it's this brass. It was just this cacophony of sound.
It's very evocative of the era of cinema. Like, you don't hear stuff like this in any other movie except in this era.
Yeah. And it was working for me. Like, I was
Yeah,
getting
it definitely added to the
invested.
tension. Absolutely. Okay, before we get to our final thoughts about this movie, we got to take a break for a quick word from our sponsor. Critics everywhere are raving about patreon.com/neverseenitpod. Superfan Stephanie says, all this for $5 a month? Incredible. Phineas Butterfield of the New England Journal of Medicine calls it available content. Betsy's grandma says, what's a podcast? Don't miss your chance to experience this phenomenon. Join today. All right, Betsy, what else did you have to talk about here?
I mean, we should definitely talk about Gene Hackman's performance in this movie, because this is one of 2 Academy Awards that he won, and this is the second of them being covered on this podcast because he won for Unforgiven, and we're back again. Like I said, this is a movie that kind of made his career. If you look at his filmography before this, I'm like, I don't know any of this.
And I was talking while we were watching this, thinking to myself, geez, is this only the second or third movie that I've ever seen him in? I think so, because it's The Royal Tenenbaums, which we absolutely love, Unforgiven, which we covered for the podcast, and this. I can't think of anything else. It's
certainly a short list for you. I know there are plenty of other movies that you have talked about wanting to see.
Sure.
We've just never done them. I don't know. He's one of those weird movie stars where, because he was so famous so long before we were even alive, by the time we were old enough to even comprehend who he was, he retired. And he's one of those guys that said, I'm retired, and he meant it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a short list of guys that are like, no, I'm fucking done, and I mean that.
And it's really unfortunate because in recent months, people have been like spotting him out in public and like criticizing the fact, oh, he's wearing the same sweater he was last week. What the fuck is wrong with you? Leave the guy alone.
He's 94 years old.
Right.
I hope to God that, number one, I live to be in my 90s.
Yep.
And number two, I'm going to walk around in a fucking moo-moo or something because I'm 94 and I can do what the fuck I want.
Leave the man alone.
He has 2 Oscars. He is retired. He can be out in public. Oh, my God.
Right. And yes, he can be old. People age. That's
You're
what
not
happens.
allowed to be old. What's wrong with you?
It's the same kind of shit that happened with Sean Connery when he retired. Like, he showed up a couple of times at like fucking tennis matches in Scotland or wherever he was.
I think he showed up at like Wimbledon.
Is that what it was?
I think so.
Fine.
And they played the James Bond theme.
He showed up at a tennis match and he was probably pissed off that he was even recognized.
Yeah. But Gene Hackman has become famously reclusive.
Yeah.
Now it's like proof of life, basically.
Kinda, yeah.
Just to show, I ain't dead yet. I'm still around.
Whether he wants it or not.
Whether he wants it or not. So yeah, we have a lot of ground that we could still cover as
Sure.
far as Gene Hackman movies are concerned. So I'm glad we finally did this one because this is the movie he won Best Actor. It was his first Academy Award. And like I said, this is a character that I had heard was not a good person.
Yeah, and I was reading some stuff here about just Gene Hackman on the set. And he wasn't that into being the grumpy guy, the kind of the asshole guy on set. So the director would purposefully keep on doing take after take after take and criticizing his performance to the point where he almost quit the movie because he was so pissed off.
He wasn't even like verbally criticizing. He would just sigh loudly and roll his eyes.
I guess let's do it again, even though he actually is doing a good job.
Passive aggressively pissing off Gene Hackman. And it's a good thing he didn't quit.
Right.
Because he won an Academy Award and it launched his fucking career. If he had walked from this movie, who the hell knows what his career would have been?
Would we have known the name Gene Hackman? Who knows?
Maybe, maybe not. He may have gotten famous, but it might have taken another 5 years, some other movie.
Yeah. All right. So that's Gene Hackman. I mean, Roy Scheider, I know him from Jaws. Like, I haven't even seen Jaws, but I know him from that. And what else did you say?
The other movie he's probably most famous for is All That Jazz, where it's a Bob Fosse biopic directed by Bob Fosse.
Okay.
It's very strange. And he plays Bob Fosse in that, and he got nominated for an Academy Award for that one too. But he didn't win either of them. I didn't know he was in this movie, and he apparently also was nominated for an Oscar for it. So I'm like, oh,
cool.
I didn't know anyone else in this movie, though.
Besides those two guys, no, definitely not.
A lot of faces I've never seen before, a lot of names I didn't recognize.
And I think that's maybe just, it doesn't feel like a small time movie, the way it's shot and everything else. And obviously it has a reputation, but I don't know. Do you think it seems like a kind of a lower budget indie flick?
If you really go back, it's very possible that this is a movie that kind of launched some careers for people apart from Gene Hackman, because Roy Scheider, I don't know the earliest thing I saw him in as far as like major movies, but Jaws was a few years after this. All That Jazz was after this. William Friedkin did The Exorcist after this. So it's possible that there is a certain degree where these guys weren't as famous as maybe we are thinking they are at this time frame.
All right, just some very, very minor things that I wanted to point out here. The first one happened. I don't even really understand why the guy at the beginning of the movie, the French guy who got shot in the face, why did he get shot in the face? Did they ever reveal what that whole situation was about?
Maybe it's just to introduce the assassin. Like, the guy doesn't matter.
Or like, just to introduce the idea that, okay, these are some bad guys.
Or maybe he's another cop, because if you remember the very first shot, that dude was like watching the guys in the car.
Yeah.
So maybe he's another cop, and that's why they killed him.
Could be. Or it also kind of points out that they know how to spot a tail.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
And they also enjoy a tasty baguette.
I absolutely love how the guy got shot in the face and the assassin just grabbed a hunk out of the baguette and just chowed down. Dude, that would have some blood on it. Maybe not. Eat the blood baguette or the brain baguette.
Well, only if you got like the center. He got the end of it.
He got the
end was
of
okay.
It.
Yeah.
Fine.
Or it's to demonstrate how hardcore he is.
Sure. Fuck. Also, the scene of them in the bar the second time where Gene Hackman is going around and like putting his hand underneath the bar and finding all of the stuff that was stashed away. Like there's pills and weed and all this other stuff he just throws into a drink mixer and mixes it up and asks them, who wants a milkshake?
And just ruins it all. That's all he cares. He's not going to collect it and file a report.
Yeah, he's not there to bust anybody. He's reminding everybody that he's there. He's a cop and I can bust you at any time.
Who's the boss here?
But then the guy comes out of some other room.
The bathroom, I think.
And he's roughing them up and playing it up for the crowd. They finally get into this bathroom and he's an undercover cop.
Yeah, or at least an informant. They didn't really establish, but...
No, I guess not, but still. That was a really good little scene there of them in the bathroom because not only did he immediately turn it off, like the whole act was dropped as soon as I got in there, but he asks him, okay, well, where do you want it? Because clearly I got to rough you up, so, okay, hit me over here.
Yeah, on this side, okay.
But before we end this, as long as we're in this particular bar, Betsy, I read something in the trivia here that I could not believe. I had to come up and tell you about it before you even came back down here to sit down at the table. So Gene Hackman's character, his nickname, and the guy's nickname as well in real life. The real person this is based on. His nickname is Popeye because as a cop, he's kind of a tough guy. He would always kind of show off his muscles and everything like that. So his nickname became Popeye after the cartoon character or the comic book character.
Presumably, yeah.
That's exactly what it was. But back in 1970, whatever, there was a guy, I don't remember his name, but he had a chicken restaurant opened up that, was moderately successful and everything else. But he saw this movie and he decided, you know what? I'm going to rename my restaurant. I'm going to rename my restaurant Popeyes after this character.
Popeye's chicken.
Popeye's
is directly
Louisiana chicken
correlated to the French Connection.
What in the goddamn fuck? I had no idea that is the connection there.
But it gets weirder, Trent.
Yeah, it gets weirder because that particular bar in this movie,
where he makes his milkshake
in real life, that is now a Popeyes location.
Or at least it used to be.
At the
time of this recording, we cannot confirm, but there was a time that location is a Popeyes chicken.
My fucking mind is blown.
Also, what a strange choice for your restaurant. Like, it's not Popeyes as in the sailor. It is Popeye, the
Gene Hackman cop character.
Nasty cop from the Oscar-winning movie.
And it's a Louisiana chicken joint, too. So it has nothing to do with New York City or cops or anything.
But Louisiana, French, that's a little bit less of a leap.
That's less of a leap, but okay, I'll give you that.
You give me a pass for that.
But, all right, French Connection. That's all I had, Betsy. Any other thoughts?
I am glad we finally watched this. This movie really flew by. Like, you paused and I was like, oh shit, it's almost over.
Yeah.
And like I said at the beginning, I get it. Okay, now I understand. Is this one I'm going to just think about and put on? Probably not.
I think we will. I don't know if we would put it on, but I think at the very least, as we cover more movies, we might be able to find and point out some things that this movie did that we can call back to.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, this is a French Connection angle for this car.
Moment, technology, some vibe that we can draw back to this one. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is number 2 of Big Movie May. If you would like to tell us what you thought about this movie, if you've seen it, email us neverseenitpod@gmail.com. Before we end this, we want to read a couple of emails that we got from our superfan Stephanie back a couple of months ago when we were finishing up our Oscar stuff. Again, it's really hard to do emails sometimes. We apologize, Stephanie, but here you go. Literally on Oscar day, she sent these 2 emails, one about Oppenheimer and one about her Oscar rankings. So going backwards a little bit, we apologize. But Stephanie says about Oppenheimer, I finished this movie 30 minutes ago. The Oscars start soon. Cutting it close. The score, the editing, the acting, directing, writing, everything about this movie is well crafted. It is so precise and polished. I love the way that they do these separate timelines in black and white versus color. It is so interesting, and I was completely engrossed. Love you guys from Superfan Stephanie.
Yeah, she got it done. Just in the nick of time.
Just in the nick of time.
Another Best Picture winner.
Yeah, she only able to watch 9 of the 10 movies. She did not watch Killers of the Flower Moon.
Well, Stephanie, a few months have passed since the Oscars, so you should let us know if you managed to get that one checked off since then.
Indeed. And to everybody else out there, you don't have to react to the episode that you're listening to right now. Go back into the archive. There are now 300 other episodes that you can react to, and send us an email about that. Soon after this, Stephanie sent her Oscar rankings. She says, I have to agree with you guys. I thought that all 9 that I had seen were at least good. I have not seen Killers of the Flower Moon yet, so maybe it sucks, but I doubt it. Usually, I full-on hate at least one Best Picture nominee, and this year is just not the case. Here is my ranking. From 1 to 9, she says Oppenheimer, American Fiction, The Holdovers, Past Lives, Barbie, Anatomy of a Fall, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest, and Maestro.
Yeah, she's a little bit of a mix for your list and my list.
I would say she's more on my side,
Yeah.
except for, I think Poor Things she's got down at 7.
Yeah,
we
I had
had
that,
it a lot higher.
I had that slightly higher.
Yeah.
It was the top of my list.
I think mine was number 3.
Mhm.
So anyway, she says, now I 100% believe that Emma Stone and all of the designers, parentheses, costume, production, and makeup all deserve Oscars, but Poor Things as a whole is just not my favorite. Well, you were right about them all winning. It's just
Yeah.
not the movie that won.
They won a lot of technical stuff for that movie.
And well deserved. And to finish up, she says, now for the Oscars last night. So she sent this the Monday after. I totally thought it started at 7 p.m. and I missed the first hour of it. Whoops.
Yeah, they started an hour earlier.
Yeah.
So always check the time, guys, because
Check your local listings.
they may start doing that more in the future.
I hope so, because I don't want to go to bed.
I loved that.
I don't want to go to bed 11 o'clock at night.
Oh my God, we went to an Oscar party and we were home by 9:30. It was
Right.
like the greatest thing.
Awesome. She says, they totally psyched me out with the quote, honoring the stunt coordinators. I was like, is there a new award? Nope. Dumb.
Yeah. Come on, cowards.
Yeah.
Stop being cowards.
I found the mention without an actual award category to be real dumb. Give them awards.
Yeah, the stunt guys, the stunt teams, they need this.
And to finish up, she says, there should be a stunt coordinator award and a stunt actor award. Anyway, love you guys and your silly commercial from Superfan Stephanie. Thank you very much. And yes, I fully expect that not only, yes, Ryan Gosling was up there promoting the Fall Guy movie that just came out here because that's about stuntmen and whatnot, but it is also a precursor to the Academy possibly introducing that category. And it absolutely should be there.
It should be, because we have watched some movies on this podcast where it's just like, holy fucking shit, what those people are able to do and frankly willing to do. Like,
Right.
you are putting yourselves on the line. You said for the French Connection, when they had the stunt driver, they
Right.
picked the guy who did not have a wife and kids because they knew it was dangerous shit he was doing.
The director was the one in the car filming everything in the back seat. The stunt driver was, the stunt driver, but they didn't want to have any of the other cinematographers in the car filming
the
it.
quote important people.
Right, because all of the other cinematographers and the people who were behind the camera, they all had families. The director didn't.
Yeah. And these are people getting in actual car accidents while this is happening
Yes.
because they know they're not doing everything they should for precautions because they didn't even have all the right permits. Like, this
Yeah.
movie's insane.
It
This
is.
is an insane movie that would never get made this way today.
Yeah. But all right. Thank you again, Stephanie, for sending us those emails. Keep them coming, of course. And if you would like to be a super fan like Stephanie, you can send us an email at neverseenitpod@gmail.com. We are on all the social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. Find all the links in the episode description. You're very smart people. And because you are smart people, you know that you can go to patreon.com/neverseenitpod to get 4 other shows from Betsy and I.
That will prove to us that you're a true super fan.
Absolutely. 4 other shows over there, plus bonus content where we just talk about whatever we want to talk about. And some silly stuff over there as well. I think, just to kind of give you a heads up as to what we're doing at the end of the month over on Patreon, we're doing something we have never done before. I'm going to announce it here and now because I feel like I figured it out. We're going to do a watch along. I'm not going to say what we're going to do it for, but we're going to do a watch along of a movie that Betsy and I absolutely adore. And I think we're going to have some fun.
Worst case, it just crashes and burns.
Who
and
knows?
you can join us for that too.
Absolutely. We're going to at least put it out, whether it sucks or not. I don't care.
We're having fun. We're all having fun here.
The Patreon is for fun. So again, head over there, patreon.com/neverseenitpod. $5 a month gets you all of that extra stuff. But of course, Betsy, this here podcast keeps on rolling along. Next week, we continue Big Movie May with a movie that I have never seen, but Betsy has.
It's a little bit of a departure from these last two. It is not going to be a Best Picture winner,
Nope.
but it is one that pretty much everybody the year this came out
I should
saw
have
this
seen
movie.
this. I should have seen this by now.
And by now, Trent really should have watched it. So the time has come. Trent and I are going to be watching from 2008, Taken.
The first Taken I have never seen. We've talked about Taken plenty of times on this show. We've even done a movie that was kind of inspired by Taken, starring the man himself. So I guess we're going to watch Taken next week. So come back next week for Taken. Big Movie May continues. But until then, my name is Trent.
And my name is Betsy.
We'll catch you next week on Never Seen It.
Bye, everybody.